into this Georgetown flint right here. Got a platform right here I can strike and hopefully knock off a spall. See if this comes off. There we go. Good flake. Gonna start working it down. Edge on this flint right here is very sharp, so I'll do a little test cut right here. This is the spall I just broke off right there off that flint, and gonna start working it down. We got a thick area right here, thin down here. It's usually thick where it's struck the bulbar percussion. So gonna break out a couple of my little hammer stones right now to start thinning this down. It seems to be good material. Get rid of that sharp edge. I don't like to, basically I don't need it to be sharp right now, and that's why I abrade and get rid of that sharp edge, is because I'm gonna start thinning it down, and I want my tool to be able to grip onto something. So I'm taking some flakes here from the end where I can see I have a little bit of thickness up in here, and I also have a ridge I can follow. There's a little flake. A little crack right here. I had to strike this piece twice to try and take off this flake. I don't have any big or my big granite hammer stone that I usually use for flint, so I had to hit it high, and then I think because I struck it twice, it created a little crack in there. Might even just take this glove off right now. Okay. I've got a little ridge right here that I can create a platform right there. So I'm just gonna lightly tap right here. Hopefully we can thin that out. Putting my finger under there for support. Have some flakes stopping right in here. So I'm gonna try and take this little platform right there and see if that'll help clean it up. This Georgetown, it can be, I've noticed that some of it'll have two different kinds of material in it, almost, well, two different gradients of material. Sometimes you'll get a little bit harder, darker material in there, and then a lighter, easier flaking material. Sometimes that's kind of what this one is. Here we go. That's a good flake. Just trying to work this bulb of percussion area down, trying to thin that out. And then I'm going to have some area to thin up here, going for maybe a leaf blade or a little projectile point. But I just napped this one out. So I want to do something maybe like a leaf biface type of thing. Okay, so my edge right here is below center line, so I can take a flake right here and thin that area. And then down here on this side, it's below center line down here, so I can set up platforms right here to try and thin that area out. Set up a platform right here. That's a nice thinning flake. Ran that ridge. So I might start moving this edge. Well, I got this thick spot here I still need to take care of, so I'm going to work on that. Okay, let's see. There's a hinge right here, and I don't really want to run a flake right there, but I'm gonna just see if I can run a flake this way and see if I can possibly clean it out like that. Oh, it cleaned it out a little bit. Still a little hump right there. I'm just trying to set up some platforms that are gonna be beneficial. See if I can run another one right here. Yeah, that one did pretty good. Okay. Getting her thin. Set up another little platform right here. I've got this ridge to follow. See if I can hit it. Got a little bit of it. All right, that was a good little flake. Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm gonna get this down to a biface, and then I'll probably have to pause, and then I can do some pressure flaking within the next couple days on it, or hopefully later, depending on if it gets dark or not. That one stopped a little right there, so I look at my pieces like this. You know, you want to just look and see where those flakes are going to go. So since it stopped right there, I'm going to focus on building this edge up. Let's see, it stopped right there. And I want to build this edge up, get those below center line so I can flip it and then take flakes back towards that way. Do a little soft hammer work here. now I'm going to get ready to try to run a row of percussion here. So I'll start off at the tip, just kind of taking small little flakes, and then as they progress, they're going to get a little bit bigger because they're going to be running the ridge next to it. Do this soft hammer. That's decent. Then right here, it looks like it could dive into there. Maybe I can get it from the other way over here before I do that. And maybe I'll go ahead and try and take this platform, see if it goes all the way through or not. Yeah, that's, never mind. That's gonna be risking it. Don't want to create any problems. So I'm just trying to get my contours right. Got a little ridge I can follow right here. Let's see if I can take that. That one kind of shattered on me. And that one hinged a little bit, so I'm gonna try and just work around this area for now. Okay, Ended up taking that flake right there. Came off pretty smooth. So I can probably take the one next to it. Sometimes the hammerstone just catches it better. There we go. Well, hinged a little right there also. We can take care of that right here though, on the base. That doesn't want to go. I'm gonna see if I can get rid of this with copper. So, yep, there we go. This is what we got thinned down so far. I'm just gonna try and fix these problems that I caused. There we go. Yeah, sometimes this material, I've had issues with it where it seems like two different grades of material together on this Georgetown. So I'm checking my contours here. I still have a hinge right in there, and I need to bring this edge up so I can flake into there. A little grind. Stopped on me a little bit in there, but worry about that later. Took that little flake so I have one flake right there. There's my little problem spot. So I have this little ridge in the center that I can hopefully isolate a little bit here and drive a flake up in there to fix that problem. Stopped on me again a little bit right in there, so I'm not going to try that again. Well, right now, my only hope to prevent a stack right here is to drive a flake right there. So fingers crossed. Nope. Might be shortening this one a little bit, but that's fine. Bring that platform back up. There we go. I got rid of some of it. See if I can fix this base. So that's what we got right now. Gonna do some cleanup work on it. All right, that was a decent flake. Got that right off of there. All right. That was a good flake. That cleaned off a little bit of a hinge right there. So getting this face cleaned up pretty nicely. I'm just looking at my contours. I see that I got a high spot right in here. It's low in there, so I'd focus on getting this spot thinned out. Got to set up a platform for it. Probably just going to end up being a little necklace point, or we'll see what we want to do with it. Took that flake since I had a opportunistic spot right there, and then just checking out my other thick spots. See where I need to avoid so I don't get a hinge or a step. Just about ready for doing some pressure flaking. This is the notch pad I use to help me run flakes. And got to keep that file close. so just gonna move my edge up here a little bit. See if I can get through it here. Okay, I bursted through a few hinges, but caused another little one right there, but that shouldn't be too bad. Pressing flakes up into here now. Try and get that thinned out. Sharpen up my tool. It's getting dicey in this area. So I am gonna try to, I'm building up my contour I'm gonna flake down here first, and that's helping me build up my contour for this area to help guide flakes doing that. Help flakes travel that way. So, that looks like great. There we go. Got right through that spot. Making sure my edge is all the way. See if I can move the camera around here. Am I allowed to do that? Let's see. Oh, there we go. Cool. So let's see if I can get this in focus here. Okay. This is what we got. This is the more finer part of flint knapping, is taking these small flakes. Let's see, make sure I'm focused here. Got the sun coming down, so what I'm doing is just setting up my flaker to press off flakes like that. I'm gonna go in a full row here, so that flake went a little bit longer. It hinged a little bit right there, but the idea right here is to take flakes in a row right next to each other, space them out a little bit so they can pop off and create a pattern. So that's what we're doing right now. So now I can move those flakes back, or that edge back up this way. Turn that edge. Sharpen up my tool a little bit more here. Thought I was gonna have to switch to my Ishi stick right here, but I don't even I don't know if I even want to risk pressing into there right now just because that little hinge spot, but I think I might be able to maneuver it with my hand flaker. Oh, just trying to clean it up here. And run some flakes this way. Okay, and so gonna run some more flakes on this one. I tried using some Cineon pitch. So what I use for hafting is it's a traditional mixture of pine resin mixed with beach asphaltum. So I collected off the coast. Um, quick walk from my place is the beach, and there's actually a lot of that tar that seeps out of the ground. There's there's the oil tankers out there and everything, and so it's abundant with asphaltum, and so I break that up and I mix that with just straight pine resin. I can't really have a campfire or anything. I could probably do a beach bonfire or something. So but what I usually do is I just put it in a tin, mix them up. Traditionally, we would, put them together in a mortar pestle and then heat them up in a clamshell or abalone shell. But I mix them up. Sometimes I'll add a little bit of charred wood if I have some of that, grind it up, and I'll use a butane lighter and I just melt it, mix it up, and then that creates a pretty decent glue. For a while I was doing it on the Coleman stove, and it's smelly. I don't want to. It's and I do a lot of my work at a mobile home area, so that smell just gets out, and it's not that good. And so I like to use a Bunsen burner because it doesn't the smell, or I mean butane torch actually is what I meant to say. I use that, and that way it doesn't smell as bad because it'll smell like oil and all that stuff. Just trying to cook it on the Coleman stove. So yeah, it's a good mixture. I've made a little bit of pine pitch here and there, but it's what it is. It's the tar. It's kind of like it's kind of like an epoxy, um, or a traditional epoxy, in that part of it is will it's like two parts. So it's gonna it's gonna the asphaltum is kind of melty a little bit. It's hard, and it's a little bit mixed with sand too. So I break it up, and so the pine resin helps it stick together. And one of the elders was explaining to me that the pine resin really helps it hold together, and that's what that's the way I see it. Yeah, the stuff you get online, I've actually got some of it before too, and yeah, it seems to not really hold as well. I mean, it has a low melting point, is what I've noticed. But yeah, with the asphaltum, I remember back in the day when one of the guys had his knives mounted with some, I think it was tar pit asphaltum, probably mixed with pine resin. And he says that he was saying that no matter how hot it would get, that it wouldn't remelt. So if you have some pine resins, if it gets really hot wherever you are, if you have some knives hafted up, or if you leave it in the car or something, it could it could dismantle. So, or yeah, unglue itself basically. And I've had my fair share of times where I thought it was good to go, glued up nicely, and it just it just heated up. So I've done a lot of trial and error. I've gone to some of the spots where we were traditionally collecting asphaltum. We're actually using the asphaltum to seal our tomols, our canoes with, and then also with we were making baskets, and we'd put some asphaltum in the basket, heat it up or something, and then or it was on a little stone. You'd throw it in the basket and then mix it up while it was hot, and then you would actually make a waterproof container out of the just using the asphaltum, putting it in lining the basket with it. So basically making a water bottle. Yeah, and I think I read somewhere, maybe it was in Ishii's book, that a lot of arrowheads weren't even mounted into the arrow until they were ready to hunt. So maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe if it was hot out or something, you already know it might mess up on you or something. So you just wait till you're ready to use it. Here's what we got so far. Yeah, anytime. I yeah, I have my own sort. I have a tree that I go to that's always running with sap. But if I ever see any sap on a pine tree or something, I'm always ready to collect. And some of it, I think it has to do with the texture and all that of when you first collect it too. I mean, some of it's runny and already milky, so you need that, what would it be called, you need something a little bit hard but not too hard. But I don't know, I've used I've just mixed it all in, thrown it in the vat, and it works good as long as it's being used for what it's intended to be used for. Like like people ask, like, about my knives, what can I do with it, or like what you can you do with a knife or a stone tool. And it's like, well, you want to use it what it was originally intended for, like gathering plants or skinning game or something like that. You don't want to use it for chopping wood or as a throwing knife, you know. At least you don't want to throw it at anything hard. Okay, we're getting there. So yeah, it's basically a preform now. I wasn't planning on doing a whole bunch of pressure on it, but we're already almost there. Right now I'm looking down it and just trying to notice where I have any. It's pretty decent right now. I mean, if I want to get picky on the flake patterns, I can probably run some more over here. This is the part where I'm just constantly sharpening my tool, and I might need to try to find out where my Allen wrench is so I can get a little bit more length in my flaker here. Especially when I'm knapping tough stuff, it just chews up the ends of these flakers. All right, well, show this off for now. Okay. I think I'm gonna hop off for now. I'll finish this off camera, but hopefully in the next few days I'll hop back on and we'll make something else. Just a little bit more touch-up work and some notching. All right, thank you all for watching.